Did you know you could grow this superfood in under 2 weeks using no soil at all? Guten gardening, everybody! Today I'm going to do a quick video talking about one of our favorite quick growing superfoods, and that is wheatgrass. Now, if you've never tried to grow wheatgrass before, we actually did a full video about 2 years ago talking about how we grow wheatgrass here at Guten Gardening, and we talked through the entire process in the traditional way that we grow it, and that is in a potting mix. We love growing microgreens here at Guten Gardening because you get, for a very short period of time, often under 2 weeks, a massive nutrient punch. Oftentimes, multiple times more densely concentrated nutrients than if you're looking at the maturity of a full-grown vegetable or full-grown plant. An example of this would be the wheatgrass that we're going to be showing you today, because wheatgrass can contain the same amount in 1 ounce of a lot of important vitamins and minerals. It can contain the same amount as 40 ounces of mature garden greens. That's up to 40 times nutrient content value from wheatgrass. Now, the primary focus of today's video is to talk to you about how we have successfully grown wheatgrass with no additional cost other than the wheatgrass itself, sometimes referred to as the wheatgrass berries that we've then sprouted, because we are not using any potting mix. Because I want you to see how easy it can be to get started producing your own healthy food. And this is just one of many ways that you can get a step into it and actually get results in about 10 days. The process for sprouting wheatgrass is the same whether you're going to be using soil or not, because wheatgrass needs to be soaked for up to 24 hours prior to getting it planted, or in this case, putting it on the paper towel that we're going to use. That initial soaking helps to get the germination process started much faster. Wheatgrass is also one of those sprouting greens that needs some what we call dark time, which means that once we've laid out our wheatgrass onto whatever container it is that we're going to be growing in, we want to provide a couple of days, 2 to 3 days of dark time, a covering that is going to prevent the light from getting at the wheatgrass itself. So we remove that when the wheatgrass has germinated to a point where it's typically about 1/2 inch, and then it takes off. The difference between growing wheatgrass in a potting mix and growing wheatgrass the way we did this time is we didn't use any mix at all. All we did after that initial soak was to take a damp paper towel, a couple of layers of damp paper towel, and place them on the bottom of a container. You're going to see we did a wide variety of containers, because really the container itself didn't matter. It's probably best if it's a darker container so that the roots don't have access to the light, but it didn't really matter for what we did. We used a wide variety of containers. We put that paper towel down, kept it nice and damp, and laid the seeds out right on top of that, just like we would if we were laying the seeds out on top of a potting mix. And then we gave it the dark time. And you can provide dark time putting a paper towel over top or a dishcloth over top, just something to keep the light out. And after about 3 days, we uncovered it. And I think this is an important thing to remember, especially if you're just sprouting vegetables, sprouting whatever kind of seed for microgreens, etc. You don't typically need to fertilize these because there's so much energy, so much in the actual seed itself. And so what that means is that wheatgrass has the capacity to grow to full height, what we would consider full maturity or time to be harvested, without any kind of additional fertilizer or soil mix, but instead just keeping the surface damp. And that's what we did. We kept the surface damp. Now, with wheatgrass, one thing you have to keep in mind is it does have the tendency to mold, but if you don't overwater, you just keep it nice and damp, and you keep it in an area where there's good airflow, good air circulation, then you shouldn't have a problem with that. For us, we put it on our kitchen table underneath one light from our chandelier. That's it. There was no additional lighting that we used at all, and we got these results. This is green wheatgrass, and it's healthy. Now, I'm not going to suggest that I know that it is 100% the same nutrient content as if you're growing in potting mix. It's possible that there is a reduction. But again, if we're looking at 40 times versus 30 times the nutrient content, we're still going to get a ton of benefit out of this wheatgrass. Now, wheatgrass is one of those really powerful flavors. If you've never had it before, you've never tasted wheatgrass, to me, wheatgrass tastes like the smell of a freshly mowed lawn. You can imagine that taste, or that smell being a taste. So, if you want to drink it straight, it's going to give you lots of energy in the morning. A lot of people will drink it shortly after they've awakened for the day. Or, my preference is to put that wheatgrass into a green smoothie. So you can add other flavors if you want to dilute the flavor and still get the benefit. Now with this wheatgrass, what we did notice growing it outside of soil was that the wheatgrass itself did not stay as nice as long, because then there's no additional pull. But we also know that the first cutting of wheatgrass, whenever you're harvesting it growing in soil, has the most nutrient density, the most nutrient value. And so the second or third cuttings don't have as much. They're still fine to take, but they don't have as much. So if you're getting a nice full cutting, you're going to get some of the healthiest juice out of it, again, without using any of that potting mix. We also know, and this is a complete side note, I suppose, but if, like us, you happen to raise quail, quail love to root around and eat at the seeds, and they love to eat that wheatgrass in general, and it's good for them. And so that's just an additional benefit for us. We're able to feed the wheatgrass to our quail as well. Oh, and one more thing. For those of you who are gluten intolerant, because we're just taking from those early shoots, this is considered to be gluten-free. And so you should be able to consume this even if you have that intolerance. Now let's talk cost, because I said there's no additional cost beyond the wheat berries themselves, so what you're going to be using to sprout. What I'll say is this: I would highly recommend, if you're going to try this out, to buy in bulk. It's definitely a lot less expensive if you're buying in bulk. I've seen anywhere from 20 cents an ounce to $2 per ounce to get these organic wheat berries or organic wheat for sprouting. That's important to note. So that's the initial cost. What you should likely estimate, though, is that about a cup of the wheat berries, a cup of the seeds, will cover about a 10-inch by 10-inch area, and that 10-inch by 10-inch area will yield about 9 to 10 ounces of juice. That's 9 to 10 servings, because a serving is about an ounce for our wheatgrass. So what that means is 16 ounces equals 9 ounces of product, and so 16 times 20 is about $3.20 for 9 servings of this juice that's going to be there for you after about 10 days. Now that number, again, can go up substantially depending on where you find your product, but that's the key. Find a good product that you like, use that, and I think you're going to find it's a lot cheaper than anything you might get at the store. And again, the health nutrient benefits of wheatgrass are fantastic. In fact, I encourage you to go back and watch our initial video where we talk a lot more in depth about some of those nutrient benefits, and I'll put a link to that in the description. Our opinion is if you can grow a superfood that is going to be ready in under 2 weeks, that's not going to require any additional soil, that will still produce for you in a way that's very quick acting as well. When you drink a 1 ounce shot of wheatgrass, you are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you can do all that, and it's that easy that you don't need any special lighting either, that we could do it right on our kitchen table, then this is a fantastic way for you to get started growing your own superfoods. Well, folks, we hope this video was interesting and informational for you. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give us a like, leave us a comment, remember to share and subscribe, and most importantly, remember, when you're with us, you are good to grow.